Welcome along to episode 10 of Two Fat Gingers Have a Conversation. Who knew? Double figures. Check us.
I know. It's exciting, isn't it?
It is exciting, yeah.
We've now done the same number of episodes as we have listeners.
Have we done more podcasts than there were episodes of Firefly yet?
No, I don't think so, but we must be pretty close.
Yeah, it's like 12 or something, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Not that I think that should be a benchmark, but still.
Nor is it really a measure of quality, because many shows worse than Firefly have gone past the number of Firefly episodes.
Yes, indeed. In fact, it's almost a measure of the opposite, really, isn't it?
Yes. Thank you, US television audiences, for not watching great TV shows and watching utter gobshite like CSI.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Supply and demand. That's how it goes. Hey, look at wrestling. I mean, for goodness sake.
I mean, that's oily men slapping each other, or at least pretending to. Who doesn't enjoy that?
What do they say it is? It's the longest running weekly episodic TV show in American history or something?
It is indeed. And do you know what the most watched episodic weekly TV show in the history of television was?
I Dream of Jeannie. I don't know.
No, it was a good TV show. And the finale, I think the finale got something like 58 million audience members in the US when it played in the 1980s.
1980s, MASH.
It was MASH.
Nailed it.
Yes, indeed. On your second attempt after I Dream of Jeannie.
Well, you give me the clue. The stats for the final episode come up in quizzes and stuff periodically. So I guess that's how I know that one.
Excellent. I know it because I've been watching it the last few weeks because it was on in the hotel room on a channel that also showed Star Trek The Next Generation.
Oh, nice. Nice. How that has dated. It is just incredible watching that now. It
has, but Patrick Stewart has not.
No, I guess so. But even he seems to grow into the role over time. The early stuff is weird.
Oh, absolutely. But he looks like he did on day one of The Next Generation. He hasn't aged really at all. Yeah. And when did that start? 90? 91? Something like that?
I think it was
26
89?
years ago. Was it 89?
I think it was 89.
30 years ago.
Yeah.
And the man looks like he did 30 years ago.
Yeah, it's nuts, isn't it? I'm going to check this.
I can hear your tippy-tapping now.
Yes, everyone can hear my tippy-tapping because I have the loudest keyboard in the world.
You do indeed.
So and I'm typing really quietly as well.
So you had a story to tell about whiskey drinking.
Yes, last Monday was my monthly whiskey club at Musa in Aberdeen. Cracking night with a bunch of people that I'm gradually getting to know. Been going there for 7-8 months now, something like that.
And now you're getting to know the people.
Well, yeah, it's the same with everything. You turn up at these things and it's strangers to start with. You're there in your own company. You know, you've got like 2 or 3 people that you know, but you don't know the other people, and they know some of the other people, and some of the other people know other people and things like that. But it's only now we're all kind of sitting together en masse and recognizing people from the last month and chatting to people and, you know, asking how they are and stuff like that. But it's it's cracking. She's John, who runs Musa, goes out and gets arranges for somebody to come in. But this Monday night was quite entertaining because it was themed, and it was themed around film. So we started off, and it's going to sound strange for a whiskey night, but we started off with a martini. But no, it wasn't. This was the thing. There was a certain amount of guessing to get the connection, but it wasn't a James Bond one. She threw us a bit of a curveball there. The martini was supposed to be Casablanca, although, I mean, obviously it appears in dozens, hundreds probably of films. But it was a Casablanca one. But
I'm guessing it's synonymous with James Bond, though. So that's a real. That is a real curveball. It's
it is. It's true. I mean, that's the first thing I thought of certainly would be James Bond. But then there's something odd about the martini that is in James Bond. It's a
vodka martini, shaken not stirred.
It is. It's a vodka martini, which is unusual, I think, because I'm not so sure about this one. So there's vodka and gin in them, but I think gin is the primary ingredient in most. I'm not sure. Maybe not. But it's unusual to shake them.
You know what? Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Yes.
Where's that thing here? Does this one work?
You're too late.
There we go. I know, but there we go. Yeah, so the martini, two things about it. Apparently you don't shake a martini. That's a really weird thing to do to a martini. and it will ruin it.
So I'm guessing
also,
you normally stir it then.
Yes, but also I'm again not really sure about this, but apparently it was an invention for the movies as well. Wasn't in the books. In the books, he drank. Well, in fact, we'll get to what he drank in the books. Yeah,
it's a tease for you.
A little bit, yeah. But yeah, the vodka of gin martini, she justified the use of these by the fact that it was a single malt vodka and a single malt gin that she used. So rather than the vodka being made from potato, this was made from the same malt that whiskey would be. And gin is always made of basically extremely young whiskey. It's made of new spirit that you put juniper berries and other fragrant things into. There you go. A little bit of whiskey lore.
It sounds good.
Next one, I'll race through the rest of these because that was the most interesting of them all. It was a delicious martini, isn't it? The next one was a whiskey called Whiskey Galore. Can you guess which film that was from?
The Terminator.
No, it wasn't. It was from Whisky Galore.
To use another sound effect there, and you skipped it again.
I know, because it's no fun when I can't hear them.
That's true.
I'm looking. I'm then push the button, and then you look for like whitey things that appear on the graph. It's like, no, that's no use. The next one was a Bal Blair, and this was because the Bal Blair distillery was one of the 2 distilleries that are filmed in for this particular movie. It's not a movie I'd ever heard of, but I've put it in my list because it sounds. Well, the director usually makes quite good movies, so.
I'm guessing it's not the Blair Witch then.
No, it's not. It's a film called The Angel's Share.
Oh yes, yes, I know that one. That was filmed in and around Edinburgh initially, and then they go on a trip for a friend who's. I've not seen it, but I've heard about it. They go on a trip for a friend who's dead or something, or is a stag do or something like that. I can't remember.
Yeah. And they end up stealing some really expensive whiskey and have japes by the sounds of it, which is odd for a Ken Loach movie. He's not somebody I associate with japes.
He's not a JP fellow, no.
But apparently a very good movie. So The Angel's Share. The next one was the Bond one. So this was a Macallan 12-year-old, specifically for Skyfall, where the actual type of whiskey is mentioned.
Yes.
I don't know if in the books it's a Macallan specifically he drinks, but it is a whiskey.
Yes.
I think it's a bourbon, actually.
Ooh.
I think it's a bourbon he drinks, but I'm not entirely sure. But yes, so the Macallan was from Skyfall.
Yes, and I know that because I watched Skyfall just about a week and a half ago again.
And the product placement is obvious.
Oh, incredibly.
Yeah.
So the second you said Macallan, I knew it was going to be Bond. Mind you, you also teased it earlier.
Yes,
so
that's true.
The combination of the two. But
next on the list.
That must have been fun. That must have been a fun event to be at.
It's not finished yet. Wait, we'll discuss the fun of it. There's 2 more to go.
I thought you were leaving Bond to last.
No. Oh. The next one is a Suntory Hibiki.
Okay, so that's got to be from a film that references Asia.
Kinda. No.
Any clues?
Well, the fact that it's Suntory is it's quite significant because the brand is mentioned a lot in the movie.
Oh shit!
Lost in translation.
Oh, of course. I haven't seen that for many years.
No, I'm the same.
First introduction to Scarlett Johansson we had.
Yes, indeed. Indeed. And a cracking movie.
I know.
But a cracking movie and a cracking whiskey. The Japanese do amazing things to whiskey. It's not Scottish. I'm not saying it's better than Scottish, but it's a really, really nice whiskey. And then finally, the last one on the list is a Bowmore, which was from TV rather than film. It's mentioned a lot in a TV series called Scandal, which I hadn't seen.
Neither have I, but I am aware of it.
You're aware of it, yeah. American politics, but not West Wing or House of Cards politics. It's kind of I've seen a couple episodes now, and it's more. It's almost like CSI meets American politics. It seems quite light. It starts off very very West Wingy with the smart talking and the very fast things and a lot of walking about, but it seems to settle more into a CSI vibe as it goes on.
Well, seeing as I ripped the shit out of CSI at the start of this, it's not really selling it to me.
No. I must say I wasn't the biggest fan. I watched the first 3 episodes and probably won't watch anymore.
Yeah. Well, that's a ringing endorsement for Scandal for everybody.
That's not no. It's still a lot better than some of the shite that I've seen.
Again, that's not the greatest statement to make. If you're like me, you watch a lot of shite,
yes.
Which there's just research been released that an appreciation for bad movies is linked to a higher IQ.
This research, it wasn't by Dr. A. Cook, was it?
It wasn't. I can't lay claim to it. I will find the article for you. I may post it online if I can find it again. But yeah, it linked the love of bad movies and it used Sharknado in the pictures of what a bad movie looks like to a higher intelligence.
Goodness me.
I could be really, really smart. I use the word could, but I could be really, really smart because I love bad movies.
Puts Michael Bay in a whole new light.
He doesn't make bad movies. He makes shit movies. There's a difference between a bad movie and a shit movie.
Speaking of Michael Bay and the movie we'll not name, and also speaking of bad movies, yes, I also watch bad movies because I watched the Transformers the movie, the cartoon, yesterday.
Oh no, that's brilliant!
It's not.
Oh,
it's not brilliant at all.
That.
The whole film is just one long cliche
with great music.
No, it's not great music. The music is just one long cliche as well. You've got the touch, you've got the power. It means nothing. It's just like, I'm just going to say a bunch of stuff and then move on. It's what's his face that was in the Transformers? Shia LaBeouf. You know when he stands up and does his whole thing? It's like, you just got to take it. Just all these rah-rah statements.
Yeah.
That's the whole of that song, You've Got the Touch, is just a series of those statements strung together with some guitar behind it. It's just, it's terrible.
It's fantastic. I love it.
But I still enjoyed it.
Yeah. There is a love there that will never die.
Yeah, it's true. It does seem like a sad thing that, Orson Welles' last words on camera, so to speak, were as he dies as a robot.
To be fair, by that time, I'm not sure it was a disaster. The man was, at that point, probably drunk himself into oblivion anyway.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it was a film to make money for alcohol, I'm guessing.
Yeah, probably. But yes, so that was my Monday night, and I don't know that there'll be another one of these mentioned in the podcast because, rarely, unless there's a wrestling themed one, turns up. It's hard to imagine how it'd be particularly relevant to us.
Yeah, indeed.
I will be totally pushing for that, though.
If they manage to come up with that, I might come along.
Oh, aye, that'd be amazing.
Especially, we could do a live podcast from it.
We could.
And anything else. Speaking of that, we're going to the wrestling in November, aren't we?
We are.
As they come to Aberdeen.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I must get myself a nice suit and all that and go as Triple H because I've got the nose for it.
Please go for corporate Triple H.
Not King of Kings.
Even King of Kings is all right because there's at least some clothing there. But if you turn up in just your pants, it's
not again.
Not again. It's
last time I turned up to wrestling in just my pants. They obviously wanted me to take part because I'm such a beefcake.
A cake of beef,
just like Cartman was. Beefcake.
Yes, indeed.
That is a reference for a lot of kids that won't get because I don't think anyone watches South Park anymore, do they?
Really? Is it still on? Is it still here?
It's still on, I think, but I don't think anyone watches it. Correct me if I'm wrong. Write in to whogivesaffuck@gmail.com.
Star Trek The Next Generation. Do
you
know when it first aired?
When? 1987.
1987.
And I didn't Google it.
Yeah, you say that. You can't prove you didn't Google it.
Well, I can because I can go and tippy-tappy on my keyboard because my pop shield is in front of my mic and my keyboard's behind it.
Yeah, there's all sorts of ways to cheat things. For all the wonderful listeners know, I could have edited your tippy-tappy keyboard out to make you sound like a deceptive lying person.
Because let's face it, I don't remember shit like that particularly well. I'm not good with dates of movies and TV shows and who was in them and all that kind of crap. I'm rubbish at it.
I should have remembered still being at school when this was on, though.
To be honest, I don't think I actually really started watching it until the 90s, early 90s. So
yeah.
So I definitely associated it with that. But yeah, when you mentioned, just as you said it there, when it would be, there was a part in my brain that was going, no, it must have been 80s. I remember hearing somewhere it was 80s. So 87 seemed like a good year.
I was surprised. I'm surprised it was so far away back in time.
Oh, 30 years.
It is 30 years. 30 years on September the 28th. There will be a hoo-ha.
Yeah.
You can expect.
How will we celebrate?
I'm not sure I will.
I'm not sure I will as well either, because I think I've got a wedding that weekend.
I could wear red pajamas to work or something. I mean, that would be...
Is it not the red shirts that always die? Oh, no, that was the original series, wasn't it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The red ones were all then to command people.
And this will be an interesting conversation for everyone that's listening.
Yeah. Star Trek. Yay. I liked Star Trek. I've never had a problem with Star Trek. I've always worn my geekery on the sleeve.
I'm looking forward to Discovery hitting Netflix.
Mm-hmm. When is it? It's not that long, is it?
Next month, I think. I think it is September. I was very excited because there's a film that I've been wanting to see for a year, and it hasn't been released. It's one of these ones, if you follow certain actors and that you know about their upcoming films, and it was completed, I think, about 2 years ago, and then obviously goes in post-production and all that kind of stuff. And I guess technically I've been waiting for a year to watch this film, and it's not out in this country. It's not been on Amazon or anything, so I haven't had a chance to buy it. And it landed on Netflix yesterday. On the same day I landed back in the UK, so I got a chance to watch it yesterday after a year of waiting, after a year of anticipation.
So what is this movie?
It is the fourth movie in the Undisputed series.
Undisputed?
Yes. So Undisputed 1 was a film which starred Wesley Snipes and Ving Rhames, where Wesley Snipes is a world championship boxer who goes to jail a la Mike Tyson. And when he's in jail...
Or indeed, a la him.
A la him. Yeah, well, I don't think he was a boxer when he went to jail. I think he was a movie star or a movie actor, maybe not a star at the time. I think we've covered that one already. But Ving Rhames is the prison boxing champion, and they get, or it's the other way around. I think maybe Ving Rhames is the championship boxer. I can't remember. It's been years since I saw it. Anyway,
yes, Ving Rhames is the championship boxer.
Yeah. So they get so they have to do the boxing prison thing. So then they made a sequel which starred Michael J. White and a guy called Scott Adkins, who's a British martial artist / actor. And Michael J. White, I'm a big fan of his work because he was Spawn in the Spawn movie.
Ah, okay. Mm-hmm.
So I've followed some of his other films. No Surrender. Was it it's not No Retreat, No Surrender, because that was Van Damme in the 80s. Never Give Up, Never Surrender, something like that. The original one was a crappy film, and then he
Never Back Down.
Never Back Down. That's it. Yeah. So the original was crappy. He was in the sequel, which was really good, and the third one that's just come out. I haven't seen it yet, but he's also in some other films. Blood and Bone was really good, stuff like that. So yeah, Michael J. White replaced Ving Rhames or Wesley Ving Rhames, and Scott Adkins was the guy in prison called Boyka, who's the ultimate fighter. You know, he was made by God to fight type of thing. Boyka was the baddie, but he was in that film, but he was a baddie with morals. You know, he was a straight shooter, he was a straight fighter type thing, and all that kind of stuff. And obviously, being the baddie, he lost at the end of it, but he got redemption through it. So then you had Undisputed 3 Redemption, in which he was the goodie in it. And it's one of the best action martial art films, which I really like these type of things. I love the Van Damme ones, the earlier ones, but then, you know, they went a bit off the boil, and he's like the new Van Damme, sort of, to the extent where he's been in 2 or 3 films with Van Damme as well. And he made Boyka, Undisputed, was the 4th one, which was finished a year or 2 years ago, something like that, and has been sitting on the shelf more or less because his films, being that they're low budget in terms of budgets these days, but they're still good budgeted films, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. But they seem to be primed for piracy. So, you know, these films get pirated a lot. So if the companies don't make their money back, they don't make new ones, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, so I got a chance to see Boyka yesterday after a year or 2 years of anticipation.
Nice.
And I was very happy about that. And it was good.
On Netflix, though.
It's on Netflix.
It says something that appeared on Netflix and not Amazon.
Yeah. I still don't think you can buy it from anywhere. I don't think it's come out. I think it's only come out on Netflix.
Okay.
In the UK. I know it's for sale in other countries. But, you know, if you like seeing people do lots of good spinny kicks and punching people in the face, Scott Adkins movies are highly recommended. Ninja 1, Ninja 2 are really good. The Undisputed series, the 2, 3, and 4 that he's in are good. I've got a couple of others. He's got a lot of films on Netflix, so I've got a couple of others that are in my pipeline. And he's actually appeared in a few Hollywood movies as well. He was in Doctor Strange. He was in Grimsby with Sacha Baron Cohen. He was in Criminal with Kevin Costner. So yeah, he's popped up in a few mainstream movies, usually playing a sidekick thug thing.
Expendables 2 as well.
Oh yes. In one of his I think he's been in 4 films with Van Damme. Expendables 2, Assassin Games, one which I can't remember, and one of the Universal Soldier films, the last Universal Soldier film.
He also played Deadpool before Ryan Reynolds did.
No, not technically. At the same time, in the Wolverine movie, he was the stunt double. So Ryan Reynolds played mouth sewn up, and then all the flippy kicky shit was done by Scott Adkins.
Okay, I see. Yeah, so I thought maybe Ryan Reynolds played the guy who had a name before he was Deadpool, something.
And he played part of him afterwards because they used his face with his mouth sewn up and stuff.
Ah, okay.
But yeah, all of the...
We have to pretend Deadpool wasn't in there anyway, because it doesn't fit with the new stuff anyway, isn't it?
No, it doesn't fit with new canon. Indeed.
There you go.
So, I'm back in the UK.
Yes.
I have a mite of jet lag, which means my day-to-day has been one of lethargy and not moving much. So today, I had a day of... Can you guess? I'm afraid to ask. And so you should be. I have had a day of The Rock.
Oh, dear. Okay. And how have you had a day of The Rock? Tell me how your day of The Rock has panned out.
I started with Moana. You're welcome.
Nice. I see what's happening here.
Uh-huh. I watched Moana this morning.
Excellent.
Which is truly wonderful. And you know what amazes me? Disney pulls it out the bag so often.
Yeah, they do.
I don't know how, but great films, great stories, good music, lovable characters. Nobody does it better than them. And Hey in Moana is now my second favourite sidekick of all time.
What was Hey again? Remind me.
Hey was the chicken.
That's the one, yes.
So Hey is my second favourite sidekick ever. Do you know who my favourite sidekick ever?
The genie from Aladdin.
Nope.
Is he a sidekick?
I don't think so. He doesn't count as a sidekick, no.
No.
My favourite sidekick is you.
From Mulan?
No, you.
I know, but that was a pretty good comeback, right?
Yeah, I know, I'm not listening. I'm too busy laughing at my own joke.
Dear, oh dear. Can you do this again?
Yay! Drumsticks. No, I've been thinking about that joke all day. That's how tired I've been. But no, yeah, it was you were right. It was a brilliant film. It was brilliant.
Yeah. I'm not sure to go as far as brilliant. I have no inclination to see it again.
Oh, I do.
It was like you say, it was pleasant characters you wanted to root for. It was enjoyable watching screen, beautifully put together. The music was good. Not I can only think of 2 of the songs that have even remotely stayed with me, and I can't even remember the name of one of them.
One of them is You're Welcome.
Well, that's the one that stays with me, obviously.
And then the other one's Moana's song, which I'm not even going to try and do justice, but the tune sticks in my head. The words.
Yeah, it's not as musical as Disney have been in the past.
It's not. It was. I think there was only like 3 or 4 numbers in it, real numbers.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I thoroughly enjoyed it. So I moved from that,
yes,
to deciding that I was going to catch up with Ballers, his TV show, which is about him as a sports financial manager.
Yeah, I've seen an episode of it.
I saw the first season when I was in the US. I really enjoyed it. I missed the second season, and the third season's just started. So I thought, screw it, I'm going to catch up with the second season. So I caught up with the second season today, which is only 10 episodes. So I watched the second season of Ballers, which is fantastic, and the first couple of episodes of season 3. So
I can't get used to him swearing.
Neither can I, but I love hearing Rob Corddry. I think you pronounce his name. I love hearing him swear. He's one of these master swearers. Everything sounds funnier when he swears while saying it. So yeah, but I really enjoyed it. And Andy Garcia pops up in season 2 as one of the antagonists, and he's brilliant. You can't say a bad word about him. He even has a fully functional big bushy grey beard. Nice. So yeah, so watch that, and then topped it off just before coming on here with watching the extended edition of Central Intelligence, his movie with Kevin Hart. Oh, okay. Which is good. It's really fun. Really good. Yes. Excellent. No, but there's some very funny bits. Kevin Hart, I'm still not sure if I like him or not. He's kind of like, reminds me of Chris Tucker. He's a bit Marmite. But The Rock, in parts, plays so brilliantly against type. And Kevin Hart plays the whiny sidekick type thing quite well. And it's got some nice set pieces, and it's got some nice laughs in it. Is it going to be something that you're going to remember in a year's time? Not really. But it made me giggle in places. So, hey, away we go.
It didn't appeal when I saw it, I must admit. When I saw the trailers, well, not trailers for it, but when I saw when I realised it was going to be a film.
Yeah.
It didn't massively appear.
It's one of those that you can put it on, and you'll be neither here nor there about it, I think. I mean, most people would enjoy it to an extent and then not have a desire to go back and revisit it. But yes, that's my day of Rock.
This is an interesting thing. As you were talking there, I looked up the review on Empire, on Empire Online. And I'm just looking at the last sentence. Now, this is interesting. It's a fairly damning sentence in itself. They give it 2 stars. It says it's an action comedy without any action or comedy. Okay. But the next sentence is interesting to me. Not even The Rock's charisma and enthusiasm can save this dud. Who else that has attempted the journey from pro wrestling to movies can say that they've turned that around? Because, everybody would have been cynical about this, but The Rock doing movies when he started to. But now there's clearly won everybody over. If they're making a statement like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not just
him. He can save films now.
Yeah, it's not just the movies, it's the TV shows as well. So, Ballers is one of HBO's biggest hits. I think it's its most, the season 3 premiere was the most watched 30-minute show in HBO's history or something, or the most watched premiere or something like that. And he did a few others in the US, and he's a big time producer now as well with his $7 production company thing. Mm-hmm. He's now the face of Apple's advertising, The Rock and City. I don't know if you've seen any of those things. Who would have thought it? Well, I think. Sorry, did I mention an Apple product there? I must apologize.
Did I accidentally make a grumbly noise? I'm sorry. I didn't.
It sounded like either you're a bear in the woods with a sore head, or you have weird sexual fetishes that you make grumbling noises about. But who would have thought it? Somebody thought it, and here's why somebody thought it. When The Rock starred in The Scorpion King, not as the Scorpion King in the second Mummy movie, but in The Scorpion King, he got a $5 million paycheck, which was the highest at the time. I don't know if it still is. Was the highest paycheck for an actor in their first starring role. So somebody saw bank in him. Somebody saw dollars in him. Well, other than Vince
and they saw the dollars off of the few minutes he was on screen when he wasn't hideously CGI'd from the second Mummy movie.
Yes.
I mean, and it's true enough as an action set piece, because that's all it is for just a couple of minutes pre-credits. I think it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you see him running about and charging it, he's just like, holy crap, the man's a beast.
He is.
He's clearly good at this.
But here's the thing about The Rock: if you go through his movie back catalogue now, and you look at the general opinion of reviews for his films, I would say from an Empire range, most of them fall under the 2 or 3.
I think so. I think he's done better than that.
Oh, he has, but most of his movies, San Andreas was probably a 2 or 3 star movie for Empire. Hercules was probably a 2 or 3 star movie. I think his highest rating movies will probably be the ones that he had bits in, maybe like Get Smart, which was really funny. Generally as a film.
The other guys,
yeah. His starring roles, audiences love. Critics are never so keen on, but he's recognized as being very charismatic and a bankable movie star. He's the biggest movie star in the world at the moment, even with Baywatch.
By volume, if nothing else.
Well, yeah, even with Baywatch not hitting hard, though. And, of course, the Fast and the Furious films, which I saw The Fate of the Furious on the flight on the way back. And it was, it was a Fast and Furious film. It was enjoyable. Yeah, exactly. It was. Just what it is. But here's the thing. So the rumor, or I don't know if it's a rumor, if they've announced it or talked about it openly, but whatever it is, the word on the street on the interweb, street anime, is that Jason Statham and The Rock are going to get their own movie franchise out of this.
Okay.
Which I think would be a fantastic idea, because the best parts of those movies were Statham and The Rock playing off each other.
Yeah. Yeah, they were good.
And Statham, have you seen The Fate of the Furious?
No, but I've seen Statham was in the last one as well, wasn't
Yes. Well,
yeah, so
he was in the last one, but he's an anti-hero in this new one, so he's not a bad guy in the new one.
Yeah. But even as a bad guy facing off against Rock and the rest, he was still good.
And they have bants about it and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they tease. They never fight in this one, but they tease it lots. But by the end of it, they have this kind of grudging respect for each other type thing. But I think that I'm in love with that idea because of how well they've presented both of them. I mean, The Rock in this one is almost like a superhero, the way that he's throwing folk around, but it's all done in good jest, if that makes sense. And obviously Statham's fast and jumpy and all that kind of good shit. But I've got to say, it was like one big long Vin Diesel diva jerk off. So here's my biggest issue with how this is going. So in the last one, you had the entire team, including The Rock and Vin Diesel, could barely stop Jason Statham. Barely. All of them together, right?
Yep.
You get into this new one, and Vin Diesel, the trailers do it. He turns bad in it, but he doesn't really. So spoiler alerts.
Try not to do too many spoilers, because I will watch this.
Well, I mean, it won't be too many spoilers, because once you start watching it, you know what's coming. The trailers kind of gave it all away and everything.
Yeah, but I haven't started watching it yet.
Okay, but
give me that long at least.
But it's one big Vin Diesel jerk off. So essentially, him and the entire team can barely stop Jason Statham, but the entire team and Jason Statham can't even merely touch Vin Diesel's character. He's so brilliant that they might as well not exist. And, they've got this whole family thread going through it and all that kind of stuff, which they're really selling now that Paul Walker's not there. They're really pushing this hard. It almost comes across as ingenuine now. It's pushed so hard that it almost comes across as a marketing ploy. And I'd like to think that it's not, but they're pushing it so hard that it's hard to think that it's anything but it does. It's just one big, it's almost as though Vin Diesel's realized that he's no longer the star of this, that other people are becoming more popular. So this film's been put in place to remind everybody that he is the star of the Fast and the Furious films, not The Rock, not Jason Statham, not Ludacris.
Are you surprised by this, though?
No, I'm not, but again, the way it's been done, and I know that this one has lots of plot holes because the bad guys in previous ones are not bad guys anymore, although they are, but they're not really, they're anti-heroes, and blah, 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 blah. There's so many holes in it, as many reviewer pointed out. But I'm not looking at it from a plot holes perspective. I'm looking at it from a what they're trying to do perspective, and it does just seem like one big circle jerk for Vin Diesel, which is a shame, because I wish he'd leave that franchise alone, and I wish they'd make more Riddick films, because I think it's far better.
This is why I'm saying I'm not particularly surprised by this. He seemed a few years ago, maybe 3 years ago, he seemed to be following in what I would say were Sylvester Stallone's footsteps, where, looking at it from one angle, I don't think it's just fair, because I like Sylvester Stallone. I think when he turns up unexpectedly in a movie, it's a good thing. Like, it was great to see him in Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah. Really enjoyed that a lot. Sorry, spoilers for anybody who hasn't seen it, because that's a surprise I've ruined. But
it's not. It's talked about generally now, and if you haven't seen it by now, you don't deserve it anyway, because it's the type of film you have to see in the cinema. It's that good. You should have seen the first one in the cinema. You should see the second one in the cinema. If you haven't, no excuses. Spoiler over.
I'm just going to say that's Alistair's opinion on this. It's not mine.
Yeah.
I think you have as long as you want. I think, I'm quite happy to hide behind the spoilers thing, where you can say whatever you like as long as you say spoilers in front of it. It's all good.
It's like saying no offense, but you're a fucking idiot. Yeah. Oh, you said no offense, so everything's fine. Don't worry about it, man.
He said spoilers, so now he can literally read out the dialogue of the film.
Indeed.
Yeah. But no, I like Stallone. But Stallone seemed to have a period a few years back, slightly longer back than Vin Diesel's done a similar thing, I think, where he decided, okay, I need to do movies that I'm headlining. Which ones will I do? I know. I'll do a Rocky film. I'll do a Rambo film. It's like, okay, but is there really nothing new that you could have done?
But it's not that. It's not that it's nothing new. It's not. It's almost like this is him trying to put everybody else back in their place. It's not him trying to be a star. It's him trying to pull the others back. And you know, you watch Stallone's films. Yeah, he's trying to recapture his glory and rehashing some of the same characters and everything. And if you've seen the last film in the Rocky series, which is Creed, you know, you can forgive him for it because Creed's a brilliant film.
Yes, this is the thing. It's, from everything I understand, Creed vindicated the fact.
Oh yeah,
but the Rocky film that came before it and the more recent Rambo film, they were not good films.
I liked the Rocky one. The Rambo one I enjoyed because it was just utter chaotic violence.
Chaos. I like to call it.
Yeah, and Rocky Balboa I enjoyed because I like Rocky films in general, and you know, it touched the right spots for me. But again, it never felt like, even the Expendables, it never felt like he was trying to pull people back and say, whoa, hold on.
No, and I haven't seen the film, so I can't say whether that.
And maybe I'm being unfair, but it's certainly, especially the end, and I'm not going to give it away, but especially the end, it felt like a big circle jerk for Vin Diesel. And if, you know, the Rock and him fell out at the end of it, because the Rock intimated that he was a prima donna. If the Rock and Jason Statham get their own franchise out of this, I think that's the best way that they can go, because I can't see them being able to make another one with all that cast of characters. You know, Kurt Russell's in it, Clint Eastwood's boys in it, Charlize Theron's in it, you know, Luke Evans shows up, Jason Statham, Helen Mirren has a piece in it, you know, and then you've got the Rock and Michelle Rodriguez, who's apparently sick of it and done with it as well, because she gets paid piddly for it compared to everyone else, even though she's the second longest cast member in the films. You know, so I think a Rock Statham spin-off, especially with the chemistry that they had on screen, which was fantastic. That could be great fun, especially if they keep it as kind of comic booky. These guys are insanely hard-ass bastards, can kick the shit out of just about anyone, but bounce back and forth. Reminded me, actually, talking of Stallone, it reminded me a lot of Tango. The banter and the way they went on reminded me a lot of Tango and Cash, which was Stallone and Kurt Russell. The Fast and the Furious franchise is one of the biggest grossing film franchises of all time. And the Fast and the Furious, or the Fate of the Furious, took in something like $700 or $800 million. It was the biggest opening of the time. It's one of the biggest films of the year. It's one of the biggest films ever, which on paper is absolutely ridiculous. You know, it's a car movie and everything, but they've turned it into James Bond meets Jason Bourne meets superhero movies meets car movies meets everything else.
They've turned it into all of Vin Diesel's movies.
They've turned it into everybody's movies, really.
But I mean, this is what seems to happen with your Vin Diesel movies, is they all move towards this center place. They even did it with Riddick. The first Riddick movie, nothing like the next one, and then it moves into a more mainstream action kind of mold. Okay.
Yeah.
Pitch Black was
a
really tense, well-paced horror movie.
And
fantastic.
Riddick, I thought, was really good as well.
I did. I liked Riddick, but a lot of people didn't. I can see why. It was Jupiter Ascending, essentially.
Well,
but less dull.
No, you're thinking of the second one, right?
No, I'm thinking of Jupiter Ascending.
No, the second one was like Jupiter Ascending.
Yeah.
So Riddick was the third one.
Oh yeah. Sorry, Riddick was the third one. Yeah, okay, yeah. Where it was slightly.
Yeah, and it was.
That's true. Chronicles of
Riddick. I enjoyed. It was all right. But Riddick, the third one. But the third one was essentially a rehash of Pitch Black.
It was a rehash of Pitch Black, but it still felt more like an action movie than Pitch Black did.
Yes.
So it's still, you know, he can't seem to keep himself away from that.
But it had a wrestler in it.
Movie. Who did it have in it?
Batista was in it.
Was he?
Yes.
God, I don't remember that at all.
He was the main bad guy at the end. He was kind of a bit part through it, and then he became the main bad guy in the last kind of 15 minutes.
Okay.
Spoiler.
I remember, what's his face? Judge Dredd was in it very briefly, almost a cameo at the beginning, almost just to pay lip service to tie the film. Lip service to tie the films together.
Yes, apparently there was a cutscene from the end where he catches up with. He doesn't catch up with Varko, is the name of the character that Carl Urban plays. He doesn't catch up with Varko, but he catches up with the Necromongers, and he wants to catch Varko and kill him because he was sent to the wrong planet. Apparently, in this deleted scene or this removed scene, Varko actually had an intention to send him home to Furia, and it was the Varko's lieutenant who screwed Riddick over.
Okay.
But Varko has ascended into the necromancer, whatever the next stage of being a necromancer is, and that ascension that they were all looking for.
Yes. It's a judge. You become a judge.
Yeah. So he's ascended, and that's supposed to set up the next one, if they do one. But of course, they cut that so they can now do anything the fuck they want with the next one if they do one.
But I'm with you. I would rather he did Riddick movies than Fast and Furious movies. Although I watch them, they're almost a guilty pleasure. You know what you're getting. Your comment on the family thing, I've never found that to be particularly sincere. So I do hope that they're not milking it now.
Well, so do I. But I mean, the whole film's about family. I'm doing inverted commas with my fingers, if anybody's wondering. It's all about family, 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 of which Vin Diesel is the head of and is completely untouchable, and everyone must get down on their knees, open wide, and enjoy what's coming.
But it felt like somebody studying from Film 101 went, oh, hold on, we have to make this character more than one-dimensional, so we'll make him have a focus on family. And shoehorned it in. It's never felt particularly natural. No.
So yes, that's been my input for today.
Nice. Well, I think I'm inspired to go and watch Riddick after this. So that's it's accomplished that, if nothing else.
Maybe you should be inspired to go and watch The Fate of the Furious.
Oh, perhaps I will if I can find it.